Hi all, welcome to my channel. Today we have a special guest called Ayush Raj, who recently completed internship experience at Atlassian. So I have asked him to share his views and also how his DSA journey and how he got the opportunity, everything. He agreed for that. So now let's introduce him and we'll talk more about his journey towards Atlassian and how the internship experience and what is his future plans, and lastly tips to the grads of people who are seeking to join Atlassian or sort of any other top product based companies. Let's get started.
Yes,
Hi,
yes.
Ayush. Yeah, welcome to the podcast. So today we are going to talk about like your interview experience and your internship journey with Atlassian. So yeah, let's get started.
Yes.
So I'll ask you a couple of questions and let's answer so that viewers can understand, like, who are watching this video, how to get into Atlassian and how to crack the Atlassian and get the internship. So first, before starting, we can just talk about briefly about your background, like your educational background and from where you came, like slightly. Like then we can proceed about your DSA journey. Like, so let's start. Like,
Yeah, sure. So my name is Ayush Raj. I was born and brought up in Begusarai, Bihar. I did my 10th till there. Further, after that, I went to Delhi and successfully failed in my JEE attempt. Thereafter, I joined KIT Bhubaneswar. So that was my education background. And in regards to my experiences with programming, so we had a course in class 9th and 10th which was called HTML and something HTML related, and the teacher had taught us so bad that half of our class was sure that we were not going to do anything which is related to computers. So that was my take on uh, coding. So when I joined college, I started exploring programming in around second semester, start of second semester. So that was my experience with anything regards to coding.
okay. So to crack any top tier companies, right? Either it's like Atlassian or Amazon or Google. So I think essentially it's a DSA, especially for grads to grab an internship opportunity, any sort of things. So could you explain briefly about your like DSA journey, like how you get started, like and all those things, like and how many months you have prepared before joining Atlassian or before cracking any of the companies?
Yeah, sure. So as I said, I started exploring coding in around second semester. So one thing it was very clear to me in the starting itself is that coding is more of a way of expression. The key idea are in most of the work that we do are same. It's mostly problem solving, having a knack to see things in a different manner, providing solutions which are not general. You need to bring in something extra. Now, coding itself also serves that only. So in top MNCs, as you said, DSA and all, is also like to add here that the kind of questions that come generally for grads and all have data structures, but they again focus more on problem solving and logic building. So data structures are not directly asked; they are used as a tool to solve that problem. When you have got a solid logic, okay, I need to solve this problem, and logically you have thought a solution, and their data structure is serving the purpose of a tool. So as I started my coding journey in my second semester, from very early on, it was clear that problem solving is something I enjoy. Uh, and development and all, I was not very sure. So decided to pursue with problem solving. So my strategy and my whole thing was a top-down approach. What I mean to say by that is I started computer programming and I learned and started doing things in the initial stages which were helpful for me to be good at it. So for example, I was started from C because that was something that was taught in our course. After 20 days, I came across, okay, C++ will help us because it has inbuilt libraries. So again, it's like a top-down approach. I felt the need to shift to C++, so I shifted to C++. Henceforth, now after doing that for 2-3 months, around the end of first year, uh, I started looking at the companies that ask this type of questions and what else do they ask. And since my entire first year and second year was during COVID, so it was completely okay. If it's going to be online, I'll completely focus my energy for 1 semester or 2 semester on just problem solving and computer programming. But again, there was a strategy to it. The idea was whenever companies come for internship, which is generally at the start of third year, around fifth semester, middle of fifth semester. So my idea was I need to be at a level in computer programming where not only I have the problem solving ability, but I will also be at a level where I will also know topics such as graph trees, which are the harder topics of data structures. So that was my strategy, and hence I had a goal in my computer programming. Okay, I need to be a 5-star and an expert on the generally two coding platforms. Code Forces is primarily the one which most computer programmers use. And also this theory was based on what my seniors had experienced. So my mentoring seniors, most of them were in a society. I came across them. So in the end of my first year, Atlassian came for internship. Two of those seniors cracked it. So it was pretty clear for me, okay, I just need to do this thing. I need to be very good at it. And if I am at a decent level, I will have a good chance for Atlassian and for other companies also too that might come on campus or off campus. So yeah, that was how I approached my programming.
Got it. So yeah, you have. Can you suggest any of the resources you have followed, like where you have read? Like currently the famous thing is lead code, right? So similarly, are you also a lead code guy, or you have gone through any other platforms or any other resources?
Mm-hmm. So with regards to lead code, I feel lead code is very helpful if you have a certain level of logic building to it. I personally felt I needed to work on that because I did not extensively do maths during my 12th especially. So I felt I need a little bit of computer programming. So ideally what I think one should do is focus first year and second year mostly on computer programming, and if you are a decent level, you will require lead code very little. You will just list which are not directly used in computer programming. So my first year, second year, I mostly did computer programming, and I did it on Code Forces, Code Chef. I read few blogs, and if you are in that community, naturally you will come across these topics. Now, if I need to specifically read about a certain topic, because there are phases when you just want to read about certain topics, learn some things, I refer to there is an edu section in Code Forces. Then you can go through GFG. GFG is always a very good place to read about things, just to get a rough idea. It's like the Wikipedia of computer. Like the Wikipedia of data structures. You can go there. You can at least get an idea what the data structure is. If you want to go in detail, you might refer to some other places too. So yeah, and lead code, did lead code mostly when I wanted to do certain particular topics, where let's say if I wanted to practice binary trees, linked list, or standard problems of dynamic programming, then I used to go to lead code to practice specifically those questions. So that was how I approached it, and then that is how I reused these resources.
Got it. So you have for practicing you have used lead code, and for challenges everything you have used Code Chef, Code Forces, all these platforms, right?
In my second year, I did 95 to 90% of my thing on Code Chef and Code Forces itself, and 1-2 other computer programming platforms. When I need to practice for some topics before, let's say, internship season would have started in my college, you should have an idea of linked list, binary trees. So to practice those topics, I used to go on lead code.
Now, could you explain like how you have prepared, like a duration of like preparation to the Atlassian? So you know the Atlassian date, right?
Okay.
Like you want to crack the Atlassian. So how you have prepared, like?
Yeah. So generally, in my campus, Atlassian comes at the start of third year, around July.
Okay.
Around July. So after my second year ended, I started doing certain topics, as I said, like binary tree, linked list on lead code. Uh, then I was not extensively giving all the contest on code forces and all, because I wanted to cover these topics. I also did a few simple projects to add it on my resume. The kind of level of projects which might be required while applying for interns. So Atlassian came around at the start of July, around 6 July. Uh, and before 1 week, we were informed about this, that Atlassian is coming. So during that time, as I said, because mostly I did computer programming, so I was worried if I might not be able to solve a linked list question, because I don't practice that much. So during that duration, I just did those topics which I don't solve much. I solved 15, 16 questions of linked list, 20, 30 questions from binary tree, just to have confidence, because I was sure that if the other questions that might be asked, I am well covered with that because of my computer programming background. Yeah, that is how I prepared.
Okay, now let's talk about like Atlassian interview experience, like total how many rounds, like each round, whatever the difficulty you have faced, and what are the questions, and how was the experience with the interviewer, like whether they are friendly or they are rude. So yeah, and at last what will happen? At last what happened, like during the results day, like what is your expression, like once you got
Yeah,
into Atlassian?
yeah. So I remember the dates exactly. So 6th morning they had a PPT session, and in the around after 2 hours from that, there was going to be a OA round. Now I personally feel in colleges OA round is the most important round, because uh, we'll just go by numbers. So in Atlassian, around 500, 600 people in my college were going to give the OA round. Out of that, only 16 or 17 would, around 20 people qualify for the next round. So the majority chunk is eliminated or here itself. So my entire strategy was also geared towards that. I need to be at a level where my OA should be cleared no matter what. After that, okay, in interview round there could be certain level of elimination, but the percentages will not be nowhere near how much it's eliminated in OA. So OA round was mostly first question was I don't remember the questions exactly. Uh, there were four questions.
You can talk about the concept, like whether it's a graph or tree, or DP.
There were four questions, 90 minutes, and the first few questions were some sort of, as I said, logic building, where you could do that. There were one or two questions which you could do by two approaches also. So there, if you have done decent number of questions, or you have a good problem solving aptitude, then you would know, okay, which would be a better approach. In case someone looks at my code, he will know, okay, he has done the better approach. So one was binary search, then there was sliding window, then there was the maths concept of median and mean, which is also very important. I feel certain maths topics are permutation and combination. It was not asked, but these are very good topics which help you a lot in the OA. So this was it. Binary search. There was no DP or graph question as such. There was one question in which we had to build a prefix array to store the values. Uh, Prefix array plus binary search, things like that. Yeah.
So once you did
And
with OA,
also I'll add in
uh,
the OA part.
yeah, one more question. Yeah, the OA is mostly focusing on only DSA problems or any MCQs kind of things.
In Atlassian, it's mostly 90 minutes, 4 questions. All 4 questions are coding questions. But again, if you are applying for a company which is of high level, you should aim to finish that a lot earlier. So, for example, I targeted to complete it in 1 hour, all the 4 questions, and I completed all the 4 questions, and I submitted around 53 minutes, just to be sure that in case other people also submit, then at least my time should be like less. So you should be at a level where you should do all those questions, and you should do all those questions early to guarantee that you have a chance of going to the next round.
Got it.
Yeah.
So when the results was declared and what is the further rounds?
Yes. So once it was around 12 to 11:30 or 12 to 1:30, the process was there. And just after finishing, I called my senior who had cracked Atlassian last year to just talk. Okay, this is how my process went. What do you think? What do you think? So he said, yeah, it should be. You should go. And around 3 p.m. the same day, they gave out a list of 16 or 15 students who had qualified for the next round, interview round, which was going to be held the next day. Now, then I felt, okay, this is happening. Like, because the majority chunk is done, right? Like the majority elimination round is done. Now, it's interview round. There is a person who will talk a question with me. So I was like, okay, I have a chance now. So
Okay, yeah. Before that, before talking about interview, so the people who qualified for the next round, right? The people who done all the 4 questions, or is there any chances of like 3 questions? People qualified.
it was mostly a mix of at least 2 questions fully done,
Okay.
and there were few who had passed most test cases of 3 and 4 also. But most people who were 3 questions completely done, and there few test cases passing in the 4th question. Yeah.
Got it. Got it. Yeah. Yeah. Now, yeah. Now let's talk about interview. Like, so how is the interview panel? How you have interacted, because it's in your BTech, right? So it might be a first company also. So how was the interaction like?
Yes. So my interview was scheduled for the next day, 8:30. So 8:30 is a little earlier for me. I
Yeah.
don't generally wake up at that time. So at night I was slightly worried. Okay, I should just get a proper sleep, proper sleep. And then that day, for half an hour, I was just looking at the internal working of few data structures, such as hash map. What is the internal working of it? Unordered maps. What is the internal working? Just so that in interview, if it is asked, I can have that discussion. Okay, internally it's based on a different manner. I didn't read any questions, or I didn't go through a lot of many things, because as I said, I personally feel in these rounds, your selection or your rejection is mostly decided pre-hand. You cannot completely study a lot of things in 2 3 hours when it's about these questions.
Yes.
So you just need to relax. You need to trust your abilities. You can have a conversation with the interviewer. That's the most important part. So I just focused on these things. I slept early, and in the morning, the interview started. So uh, can I talk about the interview, how it went,
Yeah.
what kind of
Total
questions?
like duration and also questions.
Yeah. So there was one question. So in Atlassian, generally there are a pool of questions, and depending on the level which you are, the difficulty of the problem will be increased. So, and it's a very real world problem. Like, let's say uh, you have to build a input, like password input. Like someone has to log in through a platform. So they'll ask you questions in such a manner that the question is very real in nature, and accordingly, as you discuss that with the interviewer, they'll add difficulties, and then you can see, okay, I can implement it using this data structure, that data structure. So in Atlassian interview, it's very important for you to have a very good communication with the interviewer, and your priority should never be to just finish that question. Because as I said, if you just read the problem statement, you might think, okay, it's just using X data structure, taking Y input, and it's done. But it's more of how you converse. The interviewer might add few things extra. So uh, the question was very beautiful, because I remember around 10 minutes he was explaining the question, and as I was having the discussion, I uh, asked him a doubt, and he said, yeah, okay, that's a nice doubt, we'll get to that in the second part of the question. So I was very happy. Okay, now it's not about how long it's there, it's just about I have connected with this interviewer. I just need to have a discussion, and I just need to write or do whatever I have my understanding. So the problem was using simple data structures only. But then he added few layers to it. Okay, now we need to add this feature into this. So how will you do that? And while coding and all, I was very communicative. I was telling I am using X data structure because it will help us in this manner. I'm not using this because it might have this demerit. So 1 hour in which he added few parts, and the coding should also have been done. So 1 hour in which I had that discussion. I coded whatever he said. I coded the extra part which he had suggested. So it was a very fulfilling interview. I felt really connected during the interview with him and with the question.
Okay. Great, great. So it's a only one interview, like post that you got the offer, or is any other interviews are there?
Yeah. So after that interview, within half an hour or so, for every person who had given the interview, around like after 10 minutes of my interview, I was communicated ki, okay, there will be a HR round. So Atlassian generally for undergrads, for interns has 3 rounds. First is OA round, second one is interview round, which is this type of question. The last round is managerial/HR round, in which an engineering manager comes and he asks with you about your projects and about questions which might reflect your values and how aligned you are with the Atlassian values. So after 10 minutes, I was communicated ki within 40 minutes, you will have that final round. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So how was the final round like? That's the deciding
Yes.
round, right?
Yes. So the deciding round was slightly, I was not very confident. Not confident, I was slightly nervous. That's the better way to put it, because there was an engineering manager who was going to come. Now engineering managers are very senior generally in Atlassian. The one who had taken my interview round, he was 2 years, he had joined Atlassian just 2 years earlier. He had graduated just 2 years earlier, so I was very comfortable with him. Now when I joined the uh, uh, like
Last
HR
round.
round, last round, so he was asking me about why I did my projects. It was not key why did I use X tech stack. He was not going into thorough details about tech stacks. He was just asking what was the need to do those projects, what was the type of issue that you were trying to solve, who are using these your project, what is your idea to improve it further, and also he was asking questions which might reflect uh, if I am aligned with the Atlassian values. So Atlassian has 5 values, and it is very strictly followed in the company, I would say. They really look ki the person aligns with these values. So so questions were asked to me in regards to what I did in society, if and he had given me certain situational questions about how would I react in this situation, that situation. I was mostly nervous because uh, I didn't know how to assess that round. So
Yeah,
that is it.
because this
It's
is
not
not
like
CP, right? Like you can
yes,
it's more of
yes,
behavioral round, yeah.
yes. So I was nervous on that, and also the person uh, in that interview was very senior. So that is why. But overall, felt it went good. I answered it according to my abilities, and I was also very clear about uh, things that I did do and things I didn't do. So I did those projects, but I was very clear that these projects were mostly for my learning and understanding of the subject. I'm not very detailed on those topics as compared to complex programming. So that I feel is very necessary in these rounds. You need to give the interviewer a very good idea of what you know and what you don't know, so that he can ask you right questions. So yeah, that is how it went. So that was on 7th, and the result came on 11th.
Okay.
Yes.
How many people qualified, and what is your reaction?
Yes. That is also very interesting because, as I said, my first year and second year went in COVID, and it was online. So on 9th, from 10th, my college was going to open. 9th was Sunday. I had traveled on 8th. 9th was my first day. Sorry, 9th I had traveled. 10th was Sunday. 10th I was in my campus meeting all my online friends for the first time. It was very good. And 11th morning, around morning, I went to the placement office and I asked, has the result come? So they said yes. So 6 people were selected, and my name was in that Excel sheet. So
Okay.
that was great. That was great. I was on cloud 9 because I had just come to my campus for the first time 2 days early, just yesterday, 2 days earlier. I just felt like, okay, I don't have to do anything for 6 months, 7 months. I'll just relax. I'll just make friends. I'll just enjoy. I'll just explore the campus. So
Yeah.
1 month was completely like that. after the result.
Yeah, finally hard work pays off, right? At the end. Yeah.
I don't know if it was hard work. I just enjoyed what I did. I was never extremely worried about things, and luckily all fell into place.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now let's talk about like your internship experience. Like, so you had two months of experience, right? So
Yes.
now let's talk about like how your internship, how your people, mentors, seniors, buddies. So how you
Yes.
interacted. Yeah, we can talk about more.
So my internship was of 8 weeks, not 2 months, because we were paid accordingly. We were not paid for 2 months.
Okay.
Yeah. No, it's generally in Atlassian, internship is of 8 weeks for summer interns. So it was great. It was challenging in a very good way. Before our joining, we were asked about what would we like to do, like which domain of work we would like to do. Again, I asked my seniors, okay, where you guys given this the kind of form and all. So they informed me, no, you are not given such kind of form. For their batch, it was completely random. But they asked for us, what would you like to do? So I had, in my projects, I had done one where there was some involvement of API, and also at that time also I was slightly interested into the internal working of backend, because it's not visual to you. It's it's what all goes behind making something efficient, because it's not the visual things that make it efficient. It's what goes behind it. And also because if you are thoroughly into data structures such as graph and on, I feel naturally you will enjoy backend slightly more, because uh, it's very internal in nature and all. So I filled in that form backend, even though I didn't have any prior internship experience or anything for backend. And luckily I got the backend role itself, for which I was very happy. I got backend role. Then on the second day I was informed of my projects. Projects were also decided very thoroughly, which was completely in sync with what the team is doing. So yeah, that was before my internship started. Then the work started.
So
Work
yeah,
was very good.
before work. So Atlassian has many products, right? Like Confluence, Jira, like Bitbucket,
Yes.
Trello, all those things. So you can explain like which product you are working, you worked on, and how it excites you, like.
Yeah, sure. So Jira has like Atlassian has many products, and we all know like Jira is the oldest one of them, and Jira is the most well known. Like while I was in Bangalore, there were a few people who would ask what is Atlassian, but they would know what Jira is.
Yeah.
So it's also a very privileged point for us that our product is more known than the company name itself. Yeah. So my team was in Jira. I worked in your team only.
Yeah.
So our work was mostly in a, I don't know if I'm allowed to say what our work was.
Yeah, not in depth, but just like mostly like on top layer, like so what tech stack you have worked on, like how fascinates tech stack,
Yeah, so our work was on our team's work was on Jira, and the tech stack which was mostly used for one project, it was more revolving around Java and Juice framework there. And I'll talk slightly about Juice, because I remember when I joined Atlassian, I was discussing with my fellow interns, what is your tech stack, what the thing that you're working on. And Spring Boot is something which everyone has heard of, like Java and Spring Boot, this is synonymous. So I was having a conversation with you about what our team does. So I remember you had specifically mentioned we work on Juice, not Java. Our team specifically.
Spring Boot, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have done Juice, yeah.
Not Spring Boot. So that was nice, because after 15-20 days, I came across the differences. If I would have written in Spring Boot, what would have been the difference rather than Juice? So that was one thing I worked. And then the other thing was involving GraphQL, which was very good. Like that's something, that's a very good project in Atlassian. And for people who think, for interns especially, or grads who think Atlassian does not have good projects or the work is boring, I'll very strictly disagree here, because in India there are many teams which have very good work, which have tech stacks and work which are very new, such as GraphQL, So that was a very good project for me. So
Okay.
yeah.
So like, have you make any friends in a, like, what is the outcome like? So after 2 months, how you felt, and like how you build the connections and how it helping you like?
Yeah. So for building friends and all, I feel it's generally organic. There are few people you will connect more, things you'll find more in common. Now I was very particular that I want to come to office. Now our internship was fully remote. That what I mean by that is it's completely remote. You would
Yeah,
have your
Atlassian remote
entire
was
setup
company.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so it's very good. I feel it gives you the choice to work from anywhere. But because I had already spent 2 years of my college online, I wanted this my first work experience to be offline. So I came to Bangalore. I did seven. After first week, I came to Bangalore. I did my entire remaining internship from Bangalore, even though I didn't go to office every day. But yeah, it was good. So because of office, I felt I connected with some people who are from different teams, full-time employees also, who I would not have met because the work didn't align. So that I felt helped me a lot, just having those passive conversations with normal people in the office. Also because I was in office, I was able to connect a lot more with other fellow interns compared to people who would have done it online. We used to go for bowling, we used to go to subways and all, not after work, not during work. So that
Okay.
was
Yeah.
with generally.
It's more of
And in
flexibility.
regards to my team, yeah,
Okay.
and in regards to team, I felt that my projects were aligned in structured in such a manner that naturally it aligned with everyone in the team. So some one of my projects was more connected to, let's say, half of the team, the other to other half of the team. So I ensured that in the first week and all, I connected with everyone just to have a chit chat, just to know what our team does, to get an idea. So I did that with everyone in my team, few people from our sister team also. And I was also uh, I was also keen that uh, in my work, whatever project I do, after that first meet, I should have more idea that who has worked in my team on which subject, so that later on I could naturally connect with them on that topic.
Yeah.
So because we are not in office, it's hard to just connect normally.
Yes.
So yeah, it's hard to connect normally. So I had to make sure that my projects, I should know what where my project lies in, so that I could naturally ask questions to those people who had worked on those projects. So I could get more meeting time with them, so I could learn a lot more. uh, so yeah, I tried connecting with everyone in the team on my projects. Before starting off any project, I tried to uh, connect with people who had worked on similar things in the team to get an idea how you would have done. It was uh, I did that to get an idea of how I can do that project, and B, also it was a way of trying to communicate with them, trying to learn as much as I can from the passive conversations that I might have during the meeting and all. So that was great. I felt because of my projects, I was naturally able to connect with 10, 12 people. That was great. That's something I'm the most happy about. The projects and the work that was structured in that manner. Yeah.
Got it. Thanks, Ayush. That's a great insights, and and congratulations for Atlassian internship. And yeah, we can move further ahead and let's talk about like your future goals. And are you willing to join Atlassian as a full-time grad, or you're looking for any other like, opportunities? How you are spending the rest of the time before you're done with graduation? Yeah, we can talk about more on that.
Yeah. So with the future, first thing, yes, I would like to join Atlassian full time if I have the choice, if I get the chance. Then, in regards to other things that I would like to do before graduation, so I felt my first few years of engineering mostly went on problem solving. But I feel as an engineer, you should be a problem solver as well as a builder. Now, by as a while you are doing for problem solving approach, you can do it by a top down approach, but for being a builder you need to do a bottom up approach. That I mean, you need to learn few tech stacks, you need to have an understanding of few languages. I remember the first advice you gave me during my internship is after internship, learn Java.
Yeah, yeah. As you
Yeah,
are like C++ grad, right? I felt
yeah,
like
yeah,
you're facing difficulty like while building stuff. So yeah.
yeah. So that is what I'm saying. I think that is also very important before someone joins industry to also have an idea and have a good level in the building side of things. So I want to learn few tech stacks, and I also want to read about certain things which I was suggested upon my internship, having conversation with my fellow teammates and other people, such as design patterns, slight amount of system design or LLD as we call it. So things like that, I'm very interested because as I was working in the company and I was able to have an access to such a huge code base, naturally I felt the need of these things. That is, I feel what uh, does not happen while you're doing college level projects. You don't feel the need to do these things. Hence, you don't want to be a good builder. You just want to be a good problem solver. But now, these are things that I want to focus my remaining internship, my remaining college life before I join as a full time. Yeah,
Okay, okay.
at any company.
Yeah, any company. So, are you trying any other companies, or how it's going? Like so.
So uh, at the moment, it's been 2 weeks after my internship has completed. So I'm just exploring things, spending that stipend in a good way, traveling places. And after that, yeah, I'm planning to work on uh, few things. I'll sit in my on campus placements and the opportunities that I get, and I'll look some places. But again, the current market is not very good. But again,
Yes.
uh, I'll definitely like to read upon these topics and try applying other places. Uh, yeah, so that's the status. I have not thought it thoroughly.
Okay, yeah, yeah, that's completely fine. So yeah, before wrapping the video, have can you suggest any of the your experience? I think the complete video, like you have shared your experience, right? Like, what are the last minute tips to the people who are seeking for opportunity, not just Atlassian or sort of any other companies, like especially grads, like first year, second year, third year folks.
Hmm.
Like, what's your
First,
suggestions to them? Yeah.
first thing, time your learning very accurately. What I mean to say is that you should plan when do you peak in what. So, for example, if you want to do questions and be a good problem solver in general, may it be on lead code or computer programming, you should time it before third year, because that will help you in internships and full-time opportunities. When you sit, you will have a head start compared to others. Now there are few other things which you can, let's say, doing thoroughly detailed projects you can do after that, because that will help you being good at problem solving will help you open up opportunities. And if you the earlier you join some company, if you join as an intern, the easier it is, whereas in if you compare it when you if you try to join as a full time. So first thing is that just plan your college life very precisely, enjoy everything, but what you study, when you study, and when it will be helpful is very important. It's not like whenever you study you will get equivalent amount of results. Be try to see it long term, like even 1 year 2 year is a lot of time. So whatever you do, if you do it consistently, by consistently I mean you should do 5 days at least in a week, you will see the results, rather than just trying to trying to do everything just in 2 months 3 months. That's not a healthy way, because even when you get into the industry, if you are working somewhere, you will face difficulty because you do not have a routine way of uh, doing coding or having facing challenges. So plan that. Rest, try to enjoy whatever you do. You could be a very good developer, you could be a very good problem solver. Try to see what fits more naturally to you, and also try aligning yourself to those kind of companies. So company A's interview process can be very different to company B's. uh, so it's not like you are not skilled, it's just your skills align more towards some company rather than other company. So that is that. And once you get into the industry, the people here are very nice. It's not end of the world. I am also currently in my 4th year. I also have placements on my head. I understand it's slightly stressful at times, but once you are in the company, try to join good company, work with good people. You'll enjoy your stay. You'll like to be in the industry.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
the ultimate suggestion is like be disciplined till you crack the company. So I think people should spend at least 5 to 6 hours dedicatively, because as an engineers, right, they mostly spend the time in coding only. They don't have any other deviations. They don't need to worry about like family, all the stuff. So my suggestion is like spend as much of time. If you are aiming to crack the top companies, elite companies, be in a good place. Yeah, currently the market is bad, but yeah, when your time is come, uh, it might boom. It might boom again. So yeah. Anyway, it's a great suggestion for the interns who are trying to join Atlassian or any other companies, because I'm getting a lot of pings like bro, bhaiya, Anna, like can you suggest like how to come into Atlassian? So that is the main reason of doing these videos. Yeah.
Like cracking these companies is a lifestyle choice. Like if you are consistent enough, so whatever level of consistency you have shown, you will get equivalent amount of companies, equivalent level of companies.
Yeah. I got it. Okay, Ayush, I think it's great and it's nice talking to you. I hope sometime we'll again meet in Atlassian. So as a full-time grad, you. So yeah,
Thank you. Thank you.
yeah, we'll soon meet. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me over. It was good. It was all good, in fact.
Yeah. Famous quote.
So for the viewers, he has a very he has a huge tendency of saying all good whenever he's asked about how the experience was. So yeah, it's his trademark.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay then. Yeah, we'll meet sometime. Yeah.